right, guys. Well, look who's decided to join us. It's Toby. Say hi, Toby. Oh, yes, he loves story time. Do you have a puppy or a kitty or some other kind of pet at your house? Well, that is very cool. And if you don't, that's okay. Maybe someday you'll get one, or you could get a stuffed animal and pretend it's your pet. Alrighty, guys, let's get into chapter 7. Where were we? Oh, yes, they had just about gone into the kitchen. Yes, you want to lay down? Okay, he wants to lay down. All right, back in the house, Logan and Emily found her mom in the kitchen. Hey, Mrs. Johnson, we were looking for Porter. Have you seen him? Logan asked. Oh, hi, Logan. Back again? Well, I told him to go ask Emily what she liked for dinner. I get bored cooking the same things, and Emily can come up with some creative dinners. But I'm guessing he did not come out and ask you. Mrs. Johnson looked to Emily to see if it was true. No, I haven't seen him all day, or at all, Emily replied. Porter, yelled Mrs. Johnson. Nothing. Porter, she repeated while going closer to the stairs. Porter's room was on the second level. I don't think he's here, Mom, Emily said as she looked out the front door. His car is gone. Okay, you don't have to be sad about it. I'll just call him. And you know the rule, she paused. When Mom calls, you answer. No buts, no or excuses, or you'll get the hammer, finished Emily. That means we get grounded from the phone. Mom figured if she made a little rhyme that we'd remember it, Emily explained to Logan. Hey, Porter, where are you? You're supposed to let me know if you're going to leave, they heard Emily's mom say into her phone. Logan was figuring out that Porter might have the orchid. If he came out to the playhouse while Emily was eating, he'd have seen it on the table. It had to be him, Toby. It just had to. They were running out of time and they needed to get that flower. Okay, she then said, just remember to be home for dinner. She put the phone on the counter and turned to Logan and Emily. Sorry, guys, he had an emergency best friend meeting over at Justin's, Mrs. Johnson said. But he'll be home for dinner, if you can wait till then. Emily grabbed Logan's hand and pulled him outside as she yelled, thank you, to her mom over her shoulder. Now what do we do? Emily dramatically asked, throwing her hands up in the air. I know you guys aren't dramatic at all, are you? Well, how far does Justin live from here? I could just bike over, Logan said as he thought about the mini rockets on his bike. No way. He lives across the lake, and the only road going over there is the highway, Emily told Logan with one hand on her hip, per usual, and her bossy face on. Bikes aren't allowed on the highway. This would be a perfect situation to use the lollipop. Okay, here's what we're gonna do, Logan said, this time with his bossy face on. You give me the address and I'll get over there. Emily was already putting her hands up, about to argue with him. Don't worry about it, he blurted out before she got a chance to say anything. She quickly put her hands down in a huff. I'll see if he has the flower and come right back here. Meet me at your old playhouse in an hour, Logan instructed her, and then ran over to his bike and started towards the lake before she could object. Chapter 8. Oh, we're getting there, guys. Ooh, what's gonna happen? Okay, Logan found a bush to hide his bike under. Once he was at the lake, he then pulled out the lollipop and did what Dr. Racket instructed. As he pressed the little button on the side of the stick, his eyes got real big. Both sides of the lollipop head cracked open and a rubber-looking substance started emerging from it. In for a penny, in for a gallon. Logan thought. Or was it pound? He couldn't remember. He had just heard his Mimi, that's what he calls his other grandma, saying it. She would say it when she had to finish something, and she didn't know quite how it would turn out. That must be the case here, huh? It wasn't long before the lollipop had grown into a huge bubble and started to float. Logan quickly pushed the button again, and the handle dropped down. Good thing he kept his helmet on. As the lollipop balloon lifted Logan up, he was able to steer it in the direction of Justin's house. Good thing his phone had a great map of how to get there. So Logan floated above the lake to the other side. He was able to pick an isolated place to float. Otherwise, someone would surely see a crazy kid in a bike helmet floating over the lake. He did not think the spy guys would appreciate it if that got into the newspaper. Pretty soon, he saw the green and yellow chimney that Emily told him to look for. Justin's family were big football fans, specifically Green Bay Packer fans. Guess what colors the Green Bay Packers were? Yep, you guessed it, green and yellow. As he got closer, he pushed the button again and noticed the balloon part slowly getting smaller and smaller until Logan was back on the ground. Once it was back to the rubbery substance, the sides of the lollipop had closed. That Dr. Racket is pretty cool inventor, Logan thought, tucking away the tool out of sight. He crept to the front door of the house. He landed in the backyard to make sure no one would see him. Knock, knock, knock. Logan banged on the front door. Nobody answered. Logan thought aloud. He saw Porter's car out front, and what had to be Justin's. Logan didn't think Justin's parents would drive a two-door car with neon rims and a big window sticker that said Rad. Logan decided to look around and see if he could figure out where everybody was. As he went into the screened-in back porch, Logan saw the orchid. It was sitting right there on the table. He saw where the crack was, but the boys must have fixed it up. Well, he was on a tight schedule, so he didn't have time to wait to see where Porter and Justin went. So he picked up the orchid carefully, and as he left, he saw a crumpled up plastic bag in the corner of the room. He grabbed that and put the flower in it. When he got to the lake, he got his lollipop out and the shoestring that turned into a holster. After hooking the bag onto his holster, Logan went back over the lake. He was thinking about how smoothly this case had ended up going as he biked back to Emily's. But the first thing he saw was Emily pacing in front of the playhouse. Uh-oh, Logan whispered to himself. He might have gotten ahead of himself, thinking things were going smooth. Emily, what's wrong? I have the orchid, Logan said as he walked towards her. Oh, Logan, cried Emily. My aunt just called my mom. They moved up the award ceremony to tonight. My mom left to go pick her up. There's no time to fix everything and get it to my aunt's house before it starts. Why did I have to touch that dumb flower? Hey, it's okay. I've got some friends that I can call. They can pick me up and we'll just go put the flower at the ceremony. You just need to make sure your aunt is on time, Logan told Emily. Logan, we were just about to call you, Agent Moon said, answering on the first ring. Hey, I need a favor, Logan begged. Sorry, Logan, I can't hear you very well, Agent Moon said, sounding very out of breath. We got tangled up in a new case. Did you find the orchid? Yes, but they moved the ceremony up, and we need to get it to the hall to drop it off, Logan told him. Logan, I'm gonna hand you over to Agent Stumps. I'm trying to get a python in her cage, and she doesn't want to go. Agent Moon yelled into the phone. Yikes. Logan was glad he was not called on that case. Logan, great job. Unfortunately, we can't get free right now. Especially Agent Moon. Agent Stumps chuckled. Logan heard Agent Moon yelling to Agent Stumps, Stumps, stop laughing and come help unravel Petunia. Petunia must be the snake. Logan, you're gonna have to finish this one on your own. Think you can handle it? Agent Stumps quickly asked. I guess so, Logan replied, not sure if he really could handle it. Click. The call ended abruptly, before Logan could tell Agent Stumps his doubts. "Alrighty," Logan said, turning around to a very stressed out Emily. In the cheeriest voice he could muster, Logan told Emily that they were on their own. "What?" Emily screamed. "My mom is gonna kill me. When she finds out what I did, we have to get to the flower ceremony. To the ceremony. Sometimes I get a little tongue-tied. Okay, I have got a plan, but you can't ask any questions. Do you think you can do that?" Logan asked Emily very seriously. "Not even a little question? I mean, what if I have to go to the bathroom? Huh? Can I ask to go to the bathroom?" Emily asked sarcastically. But after looking at Logan's face, which was still serious, she sighed. Okay, no questions. But what's the big mystery anyways? And how are we going to get the flower to the hall?" Logan just looked at her. "Oh, right. No questions," she mumbled. All right, guys, only 2 more chapters. So, I will see you in the next video.